Welcome back, Guardians. I'm here today to provide you with the final batch of patrol bosses in the Taken King. If you missed out on these videos, please check them out here and here. Today I am covering the Dreadnaught. Absolutely any boss you can come across during patrol will be covered here. That includes all of the Court of ORYX bosses. So without further ado, let's get started, Guardians! BLAHGRISH. Location: Hole Breach. To spawn BLAHGRISH, you will need a Wyrmsinger rune that will only drop randomly from any hive enemy on the Dreadnaught. Once you have the Wyrmsinger rune, you will need to locate one of two locations in the Hole Breach where you can use it. One is located just to the right of where you spawn in. The other room is located in the far right corner from where you spawn in. For both locations, you will have to enter a room where you'll find a console you can interact with. Once you've used the rune, you will see a message that says, "The Hive are summoning a stalking party." This is your cue to head to the entrance of the Cabal ship and wait for a Hive ship to show up and drop off a bunch of Hive Majors. You must kill this group of enemies to get BLAHGRISH to spawn. He will show up in the same place with another Hive ship. It's worth noting that killing BLAHGRISH will net you a Wyrmfeeder rune, which is an item which will let you get one of the many keys to the special chest on the Dreadnaught by killing enemies. Valis Ta'ug. Location: Hole Breach. To spawn Ta'ug, you will have to go through a similar process of BLAHGRISH. You will need an item called Skyburner's Command Beacon. Not to be confused with Skyburner's deployment codes, the command beacon drops randomly from a Cabal enemy on the Dreadnaught. Using the deployment codes on a console inside the mausoleum will start you on a patrol mission chain that will lead you into defeating a Cabal Major. Doing this will give you yet another item that you can use on a door that will lead you to a chest that is located in the same room where you used the deployment codes. You actually have a chance to get a Skyburner's command beacon from here as well. To use the command beacon, you will have to locate one of two different consoles at the Hole Breach. They are located within the ship, one in the main area and the other is located towards the outside of the ship towards the intersection between the Hole Breach and the mausoleum. Once you've used the beacon, it will play out just like the Wyrmsinger rune but with the Cabal enemies. You will get a group of major Cabal enemies that you must kill to get Valis Ta'ug to spawn up. He will actually come from inside the ship. If you're vigilant, you will notice the door closing to hide the fact that he's spawning in. Killing Ta'ug gives you a high chance of getting Skyburner's deployment codes. Ultra Knight. Location: The Bridge. Getting to the Ultra Knight is not something you can do on your own. You'll need to bring with you at least one friend. You will need to head to the Dandelion Exodus 6. Once you head in, you will need to locate two Scion Majors. They are guarding two doors that lead into a room with a console that both you and your friend will need to access. It's not necessary to kill the Scions to access the rooms, because you can just whip out your ghost to open the door yourself. But it's a good idea to just kill all the enemies so they aren't in the way. Once you and your friend have located the consoles, you will notice a prompt to send your ghost to scan the console. You and your friend will have to scan them at the same time. When you do this, you will open up another door that leads to the bridge area. If you've done the Shield Brothers Strike or have done the Outbound Signal story mission, this area should look familiar to you. Follow the path all the way to the end, you will encounter the Ultra Knight. Killing him will actually net you a special emblem called Silent Scream. BALVOG. Shield of ORYX. Location: Trenchway. Yes, even the Dreadnaught has a patrol mission boss. Any blighted patrol mission you come across will lead you to BALVOG. This shouldn't be too odd to you, as the story mission Dread Patrol will make you do this patrol mission. Even in the story mission, it's actually possible to not spawn the boss. Like all the blighted patrol missions, if you take too long to complete the mission, you won't run into BALVOG. ECTHAR. Sword of ORYX. Location: Asylum. You will be required to find this boss when you're trying to complete your exotic sword quest. It's highly recommended to bring a fire team to handle this, because getting to ECTHAR is not exactly easy. But it's not impossible to accomplish alone. You'll have a much easier time getting to ECTHAR with a fire team though. You will need to go to the Founts. If you go all the way inside, you will find 3 different Knight Majors known as Warden's Knight. Each Knight will have a different elemental shield, one for each type. You will need to kill all 3 of them within mere seconds of each other. You'll know if you kill them fast enough because the door will open for you. You will now be able to access the Asylum. ECTHAR won't be alone, so be prepared to take out a bunch of Hive enemies. ECTHAR will have a special shield that you will only be able to damage with a sword. Once ECTHAR's shield is down, you can damage him with anything afterwards. DUMUZOD. Location: The Founts. Getting to DUMUZOD may take you a week to accomplish. You will need to get an ASYLUM rune to begin this quest. To find one, you will need to locate special blights littered around the whole breach and the mausoleum. You will need to walk under these blights to start an attack from the Taken. 4 waves of Taken enemies will spawn from this blight. The final wave will have a named Taken major enemy that once you have dispatched it, it will drop an ASYLUM rune for you if you haven't already gotten one. The ASYLUM rune will only be charged by defeating these named Taken enemies. The rune requires 7 charges. You may initiate these Taken fights as many times as you want, but you only get 1 charge per day because only one of the 7 named Taken major enemies will spawn from the blights per day. This means you will have to come back each day of the week to get a fully charged ASYLUM rune. Once you have the charge rune, you will need to head to the founts. Once in the founts, you will need to find a crack in a wall. This will lead to a somewhat hidden room with a console that is very similar to the Wormsinger rune console in appearance. Once you have used your rune on this console, you will then begin a mini mission that will take place in the founts. You will be fighting waves of Taken enemies, which happen to include all 7 of the named Taken major enemies that you needed to defeat to charge the rune in the first place. It's because of this that if you happen to bring a friend along, they will be able to charge their ASYLUM rune fully as well. At the very end of this mini mission, you will finally face DUMUZOD. Defeating him will net you a reward chest that will contain all sorts of goodies. KAGOOR and KAGOOR. In order to deal damage to these 2 bosses, you will have to get them close to each other. Otherwise, they will be immune to all damage. Once you kill one of the brothers, the other will naturally lose their shield, leaving them vulnerable. Lokar. Lokar isn't difficult to take down. Her quirk is just to constantly teleport around. While annoying, it's not hard to track her down. I recommend hanging back to the entrance of the court for a good vantage point of always being able to tell where Lokar is. Vorlog. Vorlog is the easiest Court of ORYX boss to take down. He spawns in with a hive ship, so it is highly recommended that you wait for Vorlog behind the portal. Vorlog sports shields of every elemental type, and sometimes he'll even have more than 1 shield on him, but they aren't hard to just brute force your way past them. I recommend using swords on Vorlog. KAGOOR, the most annoying of these set of bosses. KAGOOR's shield can only be taken out by the explosion of a cursed thrall. It can be difficult to set this up, especially since it is so easy to get killed yourself. I recommend saving your supers and swords to the moment you take out his shield so you don't have to do it again. ORYX, a slightly less annoying version of the previous boss. The only way to get ORYX's shield down is to kill all the other enemies in the event. Don't worry if you see this guy in a tier 2 event of the Court of ORYX. That does not mean you also have to defeat whatever other boss he gets paired up with. You will only need to get rid of the lesser enemies. He will also be stunned when his shield goes away, so make sure to pile on the damage in these moments. Alzak-Dal, Gornuk-Dal, and Zyrock-Dal. These triplets of wizards are not too tough. You have to kill all 3 of them within a short amount of time, otherwise they will respawn back with full health. So try to spread the love when you're damaging them. All of the new classes' supers are especially useful to making sure you can take out all 3 within the time limit. THALNOK, FANATIC of CROTA. Fighting this guy is much like fighting CROTA himself. You will need to kill a sword bearer, steal his sword, and then take down the boss's shield and then deal damage with the sword. In this case, you will have to kill a named sword knight that will spawn in the middle of the arena named Hagrist Blade's Edge. Killing him will cause the sword to spawn. You will have a short time to use the sword before it disappears before you have to do the entire process all over again. Once you grab the sword, it's up to everyone else involved in the event to take down THALNOK's shield, so you can move in with the sword to deal damage. It's recommended that you use 3 R2s as your combo input on the sword to maximize your damage. You will normally get a chance to damage THALNOK twice before the sword disappears. While it's actually possible to get a 3rd one in, you'll most likely not get a chance unless you guys time it perfectly. To make it easier for whoever's using the sword, it's a good idea to take out the 2 wizards that spawn so they don't get in the player's way. BALVOG. BALVOG has a very interesting mechanic to its fight. The moment the fight starts, you need to head under the portal, otherwise the floor will damage you. you will see 4 special Acolyte enemies named Acolyte of Balvog. They are shielded mages that, much like Balvog, are immune to all your attacks if you're not in the safe zones. To create more safe zones, you will need to kill these Acolytes. The one in the middle of the arena should be your main target, while the others aren't necessary to kill. You may want to do it just so you aren't getting hit while trying to damage Balvog, and it will create more safe zones. Periodically, the Acolytes will respawn, causing the safe zones to disappear. There are very clear spawn indicators of when this happens, so be prepared to run back to the safe zone under the portal to avoid getting killed. I recommend that you kill the Acolyte in the far back of the arena so you have an easier time aiming at Balvog. Also, be aware that Cursed Thralls and Sword Knights will also spawn periodically to try to stop you. I also recommend that you use a high impact sniper to take down Balvog fast as possible. Servile Ogre and KAGOOR. KAGOOR is your main target here, but she will spawn with her very own bodyguard, a giant ogre named Servile Ogre. In addition to the ogre, KAGOOR spawns 5 Acolyte eyes, named Maleficent Eye. It's a good idea to kill these as fast as possible, as they will get out of hand real fast if left unchecked. The Shadow Shot Super is a great tool to taking down the Servile Ogre fast. It is recommended that you do this because otherwise 3 more ogres will spawn, making everything a huge headache. The moment you kill the Servile Ogre, you will be able to damage KAGOOR. Her shield will come back along with her bodyguard ogre, so try to save your most powerful attacks for this moment, so you don't have to take down another Servile Ogre. And that covers all the patrol bosses of the Dreadnaught. There may be changes in the future to Destiny that could potentially add more bosses to patrol mode, so if you're watching in the future and you see something missing, that would be the reason why. I hope you've enjoyed the guide. If you'd like to add anything, please leave a comment below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and hit subscribe to see more Destiny videos and other games. This is Firemac saying bye bye.